This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, a group protest outside Dunedin prison for what they say is a human rights violation. A successful cull over the weekend pleases Environment Southland, with thousands of predators removed. And New Zealand Transport Agency performs some much needed spring cleaning, and you should expect transport delays. And a very good evening, I'm Craig Story. Picketers gathered outside the Department of Corrections today to peacefully protest what they have called a human rights violation. No Pride in Prisons is working closely with a suicidal, incarcerated trans woman who's been placed in solitary confinement. The woman has been in prison for 2 weeks and counting.
1, 2, 3, 4. Open up her prison door.
Fed through a slot and kept in a tiny cell for 23 hours of the day. I'm Rosella Bone, and here outside the Department of Corrections, where there's a protest happening regarding human rights in prison, and I've got people from all walks of life standing here behind me, including lecturers, students and former mayoral candidate Scout Barbara Evans.
The psychological stress is putting her under. She's telling us on the phone every single time we speak to her about how much she wants to kill herself.
No Pride in Prisons says a trans woman currently in solitary confinement is being subjected to constant sexual harassment and her mental health is declining. Barbara Evans says the woman will end up dead if she stays in solitary any longer.
If we don't get her out, the only way that she'll be coming out of solitary confinement is in a body bag.
Others turned out today to protest what they considered to be a violation of basic human rights.
Solitary confinement is absolutely no picnic at all. It can be very harsh and certainly mentally damaging for a lot of people.
Doing that for someone's supposed safety simply because the system doesn't know how to treat them, that's pretty deplorable in my eyes.
Basically, that not just across New Zealand but globally, trans prisoners, particularly trans people of colour, are the most vulnerable group of prisoners, not just in New Zealand but in the world.
The group is asking the Department of Corrections to release the woman into the general prison population.
She feels a lot safer there despite the risk of assault. She feels significantly safer there around the people that she loves and trusts.
However, not everyone was in agreement with the sentiments expressed at the picket line.
And I was in the at-risk unit and I was seen as so I think
it's really cool that you had that experience, and we're really happy that you had that experience, but that's not the experience that every prisoner has.
The Department of Corrections denies the transgender prisoner is subject to solitary confinement and says she's being managed closely for her own care and protection with appropriate professional support. Corrections says she has a history of making false allegations against other prisoners and staff. Rosella Bone, The South Today.
Health Minister Jonathan Coleman says the Southern DHB is meeting the government's health targets. He says the DHB has met the increased immunisation target of 8-month-olds, with 95% being inoculated. Minister Coleman says hospitals in the southern region are delivering more elective surgery too. He says these results are supported by the $194 million funding increase Southern DHB has received over the last 8 years. And as an incentive for better performance in the future, the Southern DHB is due to receive an extra $32 million in new money this year. Volunteers and Environment Southland staff looked to the hills to remove wild pine trees over the weekend. The Regional Council venture happens twice a year and clears private and public land from introduced pest plant species, and the Council's biosecurity team are calling it a success.
Wilding trees are becoming a big issue in Southland. Pine trees are self-seeding and taking over the countryside, reducing the amount of land available for pasture and conservation. So Environment Southland has created an initiative to remove pine trees before they become a problem. Last Saturday, a group of volunteers and council staff combed the Mid-Dome area farm, cutting down and pulling out trees.
We had 23 people head up to the Longridge North area onto Jeff Keen's property up there, and we spent the day controlling wild entries on his property, and yeah, just really introduction to people about the wild entry issue.
Milne says the day was successful for everyone involved.
For Jeff Keen it was really valuable for his property, because what we did was swept through an area and controlled all regeneration of wilding trees within that area. So now Jeff knows that that area is relatively free of wilding trees, and he can focus on other areas on his property.
He says the problem with pest plants is they change the landscape. One area will look completely different over a 20 to 30 year period, so it's important to act before it becomes a problem.
If anyone's sort of interested in the wilding tree issue, just keep an eye out for our next volunteer work day and sign up and come and see it firsthand for themselves.
He says if you're concerned about wilding trees, you can register your land to be part of the eradication project taking part in March. All the information is on the Environment Southland Facebook page. Ruby Spink, The South Today.
University of Otago researchers have discovered bacteria can boost their own immune systems by talking to each other. The team is led by Associate Professor Peter Finneran of the Department of Microbiology and Immunology. He says bacteria are using a form of chemical communication known as quorum sensing. Finneran says this discovery will help researchers with the better knowledge of how immune defences work. The team's findings are due to appear in the international journal Molecular Cell. Motorists on State Highway 6 between Dunedin and Cromwell, over the next fortnight you can expect delays at the Nevis Bluff just east of the Gibbston Valley. Contractors for the New Zealand Transport Agency are carrying out a spring clean of the bluff face high above the road. Mark Price explains.
From State Highway 6 it's hard to see what's happening on the towering hillside above and why traffic is being held up. Hi, I'm Mark Price at the Nevis Bluff, where a little bit of geological chaos up there is causing a little bit of traffic disruption down here. Over the next 2 weeks, climbers carrying crowbars and other devices will abseil across the face, pulling away loose rock and letting it fall to the bottom of the bluff. And that's the reason for the 10-minute road closures.
Really for the safety of people using the road. If the rocks come down and hit someone, then yeah, it's not a good situation. So yeah, it's basically just that's the main reason for safety of the.
Rock's been falling off the bluff since the day the road was built during the gold rush in the 1860s. Testament to the bluff's interesting geological makeup.
Just the way the schist rock is layered, it's susceptible to gravity. It's kind of like it's a bit like a deck of cards. It's kind of, it lays at this sort of this angle back into the rock face, and it just wants to peel down with gravity. But also there's varying types of rock or different types of schist. There's 5 different types of schist, and we've got 4 of them there, and they're all of varying quality, and the geology is very chaotic.
Motorists can expect regular 10-minute delays at the bluff for the next 2 weeks. I'm Mark Price for the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, Anderson's Bay has a brand new tourist attraction. Caution though, it has teeth. And another great reason to visit Invercargill tears into town on 2 wheels.
Emu oil has been used for centuries to support joint mobility and tired muscles. Also helpful for supporting healthy skin. Available as oil or in capsules. Go to www.silverhorn.co.nz to order emu oil today.
We're a 25 Moray Place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focusing on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
My Els and I just love coming to Alex Campbell's. That's my favourite shop. I always get good value here, and good boys, really deserve good brands and good quality. Look at these tees. Local beaches on some of them too. This is only for the good boys, the old boys, the young boys. What about some bright shorts for the boys? Excellent.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Southern Television takes pride in providing a wide range of programming. If you have concerns about our programming or feel that standards have been breached, please write to the address on screen within 20 working days of airing. Visit Broadcast Standards Authority website for more information on the complaints process.
Yes, Sonny Chin.
Neck, shoulder, back, sciatica, pain specialists. Innovative tools specifically designed to contour your grooves of depletion and excess muscle buildup.
Sonny Chin, it works. When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
We need your help to rebuild our animal centre urgently. Please give a little today.
Welcome back. Southern Police and Emergency Services are at the scene of a fatal crash on the Hampden-Palmerston Road near the turn-off to the Moraki Boulders. Police were called shortly after 3:30 this afternoon to the crash involving 4 cars. One person has died at the scene and another has critical injuries. Police say the serious crash unit has been notified and will be investigating. The road is currently down to 1 lane. Dunedin's Andersons Bay Inlet has its own aquatic tourist attraction. A New Zealand fur seal has taken up temporary residence, which is drawing locals and visitors to the sucky suburb. But like all wildlife encounters, the Department of Conservation is asking people to take care.
This marine acrobat clearly hasn't been told not to play with its food, as the young New Zealand fur seal enjoyed throwing an octopus around before chowing down on some quality fresh calamari sashimi. A steady stream of onlookers enjoyed watching the frolicking youngster making a meal out of its lunch.
But my daughter spotted it and wanted to have a closer look.
Yeah, we take it for granted here in Dunedin, I think. But yeah, it's, I love living out on the peninsula and driving in each day. You never know what you're going to see.
But the Department of Conservation is strongly urging caution to all.
I think it's really important for public to be aware of wildlife and be able to tell the differences between fur seals and sea lions, and just get interested and know a bit about their behaviour so they can keep themselves safe.
Jim Fife says it's typical with the New Zealand fur seal's breeding season for young males to find a refuge from the colonial pre-mating combat zone.
This particular time of year, it's breeding season, and the adult males are quite territorial. So a lot of the juvenile males will get pushed out from the breeding rookeries, and they'll go and try and find somewhere quiet and peaceful where they can have an easy life. And this one's just happened on the Otago harbour and found that he can get a good supply of octopus around our harbour walls.
Fife says although it's great this youngster is staying safe from bigger males, there are many hazards in his semi-urban world.
The problem is that all around the harbour we have roads and cycleways, and whenever he comes out to rest, he can get himself into sort of situations that are potentially dangerous for him, or provides quite a lot of interaction with the public.
He says fur seals are a wild animal who will defend themselves if they feel threatened. And the Department of Conservation says people should give space to wildlife, causing concern from the Department of Conservation, who say people should not be too close. Daryl Baser getting the seal of approval for South Today.
After the break on the South Today, a collection of superb motorcycles unique to Australasia opens its doors in Invercargill, and a change in the weather is on its way. Place your bets.
Emu oil has been used for centuries to support joint mobility and tired muscles. Also helpful for supporting healthy skin. Available as oil or in capsules. Go to www.silverhorn.co.nz to order emu oil today.
Oh, help! Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician, for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
We need your help to rebuild our animal centre urgently. Please give a little today.
We're a 25 Moray place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focused on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. Make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
My Els and I just love coming to Alex Campbell's. That's my favourite shop. I always get good value here, and good boys really deserve good brands and good quality. Look at these tees. Local beaches on some of them too. This is only for the good boys, the old boys, the young boys. What about some bright shorts for the boys? Excellent.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
Welcome back. Yet another stop has been added to the Invercargill Transport Tourism Circuit. Motorcycle Mecca on Tay Street is the latest attraction opened today, and just in time for the Burt Munro Challenge.
Britain's triumphs, BMWs, it's a petrolhead's dream. Hi, I'm Ruby Spink in Invercargill, here at the opening of Motorcycle Mecca, where you can see behind me the collection of over 300 bikes. For owners and trustees Jocelyn and Scott O'Donnell, setting up this museum has been a labour of love. With Jocelyn designing the space and Scott curating the stock, the motorcycles were largely gathered from a private collector in Nelson.
Had a look through his list of stock, so to speak, but when we went to have a look at it, it was something quite special. So I walked through the front door and had that wow factor. And I thought then, well, this is something that New Zealand needs to have.
It's another string to their bow. Jocelyn O'Donnell is a director of the H.W. Richardson Group, which develops Bill Richardson Transport World, also on Tay Street. They want to see Invercargill become a destination for people who are interested in vehicles to come and spend some time in the city.
We've got another attraction for people to come and see. It puts Invercargill on the map when it comes to automotive displays and events, and that's important for us. And we're trying real hard to regenerate the whole town.
The opening today drew in some VIPs from the racing world, including Greg Murphy and Guy Martin. It was Guy Martin's first time in the South Island, and he says the collection was worth the trip.
No, this is nearly as good as a collection as you'll ever see. It's as good a collection as you'll ever see in England.
And this collection, which is unique to Australasia, is now open to the rest of the public. I'm Ruby Spink for the South Today.
So pretty. The Otago Volts cricket team is playing at the Wellington Firebirds at the University of Otago Oval. The Volts won the toss and went into bat first. Here's Adrian Ciccone with an update of the day's play.
I'm Adrian Ciccone. It's the tea break on day one of the Plunket Shield match between Otago and Wellington at the University Oval today. Otago's in a bit of a tricky position at 181 for 6. Veteran Wellington off-spinner Jeetan Patel picked up 3 wickets in the afternoon session to put his side on top. He bowled the watchful Michael Bracewell for 43 after the batsman suddenly decided to use just half his bat. The dangerous Jimmy Neesham spooned a catch to short forward leg before he could really get going, and Josh Finney cut the ball straight to point. Earlier, Hamish Rutherford had got Otago off to a rapid start with a cameo of 31. The Volts were 50 without loss after 10 overs, but he nicked a half volley through the third slip, and 10 overs later, fellow opener was run out. He was slow to get off the mark. Experienced Otago wicketkeeper Derek de Border and all-rounder Chris de Villion have the task of rebuilding. I'm Adrian Ciccone for South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Tonight. Protesters gathered outside the Department of Corrections, peacefully protesting what they call a human rights violation of a transgender prisoner. Volunteers and Environment Southland staff took to the Southern Hills to remove wild pine trees over the weekend, attempting to clear the pest plant species. And motorists on State Highway 6 between Queenstown and Cromwell over the next fortnight can expect delays at the Nevis Bluff, just east of the Gibbston Valley. Time now to have a look at what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. Very good day to you, Phil. Are you well?
Hi, Craig. Yes, very good, thanks.
What's happening in the paper tomorrow?
Well, nothing about motorbikes, unfortunately. I can tell you just we're drooling over that Invercargill scene, but never mind. So pretty. Now, on a serious note, that fatal crash in Moeraki, we've our North Otago reporter there, and so as the night develops, there'll be more on that in the paper tomorrow. 3 fresh pages with the usual columns, recipe or 2, and there's an interview with Peter Matthias, who is speaking in Dunedin soon, and has a book out, and quite a traveller, lives part of the year in the south of France, where she's done up her house.
And a very interesting character too, Peter.
You know her well. A little anyway, so that'll be a popular occasion. She's speaking at the Kings and Queens Auditorium. The date's in the paper, I can't remember it right now, but so have a look and you'll find out. Yeah, absolutely. Opinion page, interesting piece written about the cycleway to Port Chalmers, saying that more people should contribute, including the port company and the trucking companies. They've taken over the road in those big trucks, and it's quite horrific past St Leonard's if you're on a bicycle.
Indeed.
Talk of the Warriors playing out of Australia, playing round 3 match in Dunedin, so we're getting more details about that.
That's an NRL game?
That's a full NRL game, not a warm-up game, so any sports fan, which includes me, will be keen to go. Not a rugby league fan particularly, but...
If that's confirmed, get your tickets now, that'll be a big deal.
It will be a big deal. And finally, a not so happy story again, court story about the Dunedin electrician. He's admitted burning down his house after his relationship fell apart. It's quite a big blaze seen all over Dunedin some time ago.
Tragic end. Indeed. Again, more news, get your paper. Thank you so
Craig.
very much indeed. All right. It's time now to have a look at the weather for the south.
This weather update proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn's Manuka Honey.
Right, starting with today's southern view taken of the Edith Cavell Bridge at the Shotover River. It's pretty. Looking at the situation, a softened westerly, mild skies rule the region, but it won't last, I'm afraid. Rain comes late tomorrow and a wet, late week is foretold. To the southern outlook, Balclutha, and this is pretty much generic around the place. Light easterlies, some rain, 14. The same for Catlins, Gore, moderate southeasterlies, some rain, 14. Moderate Lumsden, southeasterlies, 14. For Central, light easterlies, 14. Alexandra, that's what you'll have. Same for Queenstown, Te Anau, light southeasters, showers in 14. Wanaka, light southeasterlies, late showers in 14. And to Oamaru, variable winds, cloudy 16. Omarama, variable winds, cloudy 16. Timaru, variable winds, cloud 25. That is not a typo. And Twizel, variable winds, cloudy 16. Good weather here in Dunedin tonight. Warm, of course. Dying nor'easters, high cloud disappearing, an overnight low of 11. Tomorrow, cloudy, rain developing by lunchtime, freshening cool southerlies, 14. And Thursday, cloudy, a few showers. They will be clearing late in the day and nor'easters. And at Invercargill tonight, cloud increasing with short-lived rain and southeasters, an overnight low of 11. Tomorrow, cloud increasing, sun and rain with light southeasters and a high of 15. Friday, cool. I'm afraid the night will be strong westerlies by the morning. Winds to gale force late in the day. Be aware of that, and a high of 16. And thank you so very much for watching. We'll leave you with some shots from today's Otago Primary and Intermediate Schools Athletics Championships. On behalf of the good men and women of Dunedin News, I'm Craig Story. Good evening.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.